Before we get into the greatest opal quiz of all time, take a look at the background. This is part of a feature that I said I was going to add, the rock of the week. But anyway, someone in the comments told me that I should make up a joke. Well, I don't make up jokes, but a minister, a rabbi, and an opal decided to take a fishing trip. During the trip, the minister had to relieve himself, so he walked on top of the water to the shore where he did so. He was soon followed by the rabbi, who did the same thing. Well, the opal decided to do it, but he didn't know where the rocks were that they were walking on, so he fell to the bottom. Then a big fish swam over and ate the opal, and within a few weeks, the fish turned into a beautiful princess. She soon met a frog who claimed that he would become a handsome prince if she would only kiss him. So she did, and nothing happened. He was still a frog. He hopped away, and she was left with frog breath. So here's the first question of the quiz. Where is matrix opal found? Honduras, South Australia, Queensland in Australia, Louisiana, all of the above, or B and C only? Get a point if you get it right. The answer is E, all of the above. Well, how does opal form? This is limestone with flint nodules in it, but basically things like flint and opal, silicon dioxide substances, form in holes. Pre-existing holes or seams, any sort of crack. Water with high concentrations of silicates gets into the holes and cracks and crevices, and we end up with flint, opal, or agate. This is Honduran opal. It's matrix opal. You can see that by the pattern of the flakes. It's very colorful. It's kind of hard to see the color, but the matrix is naturally black. This is not treated. And, well, some of it is kind of scary. This, of course, is Andamuka matrix opal. Beautiful color bars in this particular example. You treat it with sugar and acid. Sometimes it comes out great. I bet you've never seen this before. This is Boulder Matrix. Boulder Matrix is from Queensland, Australia, and the seams, the cracks, are within pieces of ironstone. So it's a completely different thing. And this unusual stone with a little bit of purplish color in it is Louisiana Opal. The rare and deadly Louisiana Opal. Actually, this is the only piece I ever got. It's not so hot, but it may be better than this. Question 2. What type of opal is this? Seen this one before, haven't you? It's got nice color bars, green, red, blues. Looks very good. But I'm looking for the type of opal. Yes, it's Australian opal. You know that. But let's get to the question. Is it black opal? Is it white opal? SemiCrystal opal? Crystal opal? Or none of the above? Well, the answer is SemiCrystal opal. We've never talked about this, but this is white opal. It's distinguished by the white color, the variability in the play of color, but it's fundamentally opaque, and hence the term white opal. On the other end of the spectrum, we have opal, crystal opal, that is basically has a transparent background, and that's why it's referred to as crystal. Here, if you look carefully, you can see my fingers straight through the rock. Crystal opal. Ethiopian opal has a reputation of being crystal, but sometimes there's not enough color to fill up the crystal background. And if there's not enough color, then some people go for the semi-crystal Ethiopian opal because it looks like Australian opal. The color stays on the surface. So let's get back to this. In this one we can see a lot of color on this end, and on the side it's sort of translucent. That goes with semi-crystal opal. It's semi-crystal over here, and toward the left it gets to be white on the top. Semi-crystal overall though. Next question. What in the heck is this? Is it Mexican fire opal, Mexican fire agate, Boulder opal, the boldest type, or none of the above? Well, let's take a look. Brilliant green and red color, sort of broken up into squares, lots of cracks, but very, very nice color. Every part of it is just beautiful. So, what's the answer to this? The answer is none of the above. This is Ammolite. Ammolite comes from a creature known as an ammonite, and this is a fossilized ammonite from presumably the Cretaceous period. They're actually a squid-like organism similar to today's chambered nautilus, and some of them have color and others don't. This large one is from Morocco, and the colorful ones seem to come from the Rocky Mountain areas, notably in Canada. At least that was what I was told at the Gem and Mineral Show. May not be right. And this is one from Morocco that is very nice, but, well, it's not very colorful. And this fella is a chambered nautilus, and you can see the tentacle-like things. This is a triplet made of ammolite. You can see the back is black, and you can see the layers there. And they've put a thin layer of crystal on top of that and made a very shiny gem. And this cost me $15. So you need to appreciate Ammolite for what it is. It looks very much like opal. It's very beautiful. But that brings us to our fourth question. What type of opal is this? Ethiopian Wellow Opal, precious Mexican fire opal, Ethiopian chocolate opal, honeydew opal, or none of the above? Let's take a look. It's got this orangish look, which fades sort of to white. It's got considerable play of color, and it's embedded in this, limestone matrix. And the answer is this is precious Mexican fire opal. And why do we call it precious? We call it precious opal when it displays play of color. Now, this is what is normally sold as fire opal, and this is common Mexican fire opal. It has no play of color, but it's certainly beautiful in its own right. And it looks beautiful, and it's worn in jewelry. Most Mexican opal does not have play of color, but some does, and we have some to show you. Here's a piece that's polished, and it's got that same orange, reddish orange color, but it's also got play of color, the sparkling play of color that we see in Australian opal, among others. The precious opal fire opal is pretty rare, and it's usually found as little spots within the bigger rock. So they carve these little specimens out with the matrix intact, and they sell them like this. They also sell Mexican opal as sort of a mixture. They put the good ones with play of color on the outside, but probably the center of this doesn't have much. Question 5. In order to properly set a cabochon, one must bevel the bottom edge, B, have a super blinging setting, C, have all 10 fingers, or D, choose an oval or round stone. And the answer is A, bevel the bottom edge. We've gone over this before. If you leave the edge sharp on the bottom of a cabochon, it'll hit the side of the setting and possibly break off. So to prevent this, we grind it off to begin with. Question 6. Silica dust caused by grinding or cutting opal may cause A, pneumococcal pneumonia, B, nubrigable ammonia, C, silicosis, D, silicomosis, and E, pneumoconiosis. And the answer is C and E. It may cause silicosis and pneumoconiosis. Well, you have to know that silicosis is a subset of pneumoconiosis. It just means that you've inhaled a bunch of dust. Silicosis is just silica, and other pneumoconiosis can be other things like coal dust. This is a lung with silicosis with these feathery interstitial and fluffy areas. It makes for very difficult breathing. Question 7. Harmful effects of silica can be mitigated by which of the following? Using water on your grinding machine, B, proper ventilation, C, industrial strength Febreze, or D, wearing a nylon ski mask. And the answer is A and B. Use water when grinding and use proper ventilation. But if I know you, and I don't, you may want the ski mask. Question 8. What type of material is this? Boulder opal, fake opal, flake opal, pipe opal, or A and D only? Boulder and pipe opal. And the answer, well, let's take a look at it first. Have a brown stone that's very hard and heavy. That identifies it as ironstone to me, and we have these very interesting little structures that are made of opal within it. And if we look at the shape of these things, they somewhat resemble, well, belemnites. So the answer is, this is boulder and pipe opal. Pipe is a term that we use for fossilized belemnites, small to large squid-like things that are organisms that are fossilized. And here, the little belemnites are embedded within the boulder opal. Very beautiful, but sometimes in other areas of Australia, you find larger ones. Some of these are 3 inches long or 4 inches long. And they often, like most fossils, look very beautiful. Question 9. Which of the following is a type of precious opal? Blue Andean opal, Australian grey potch, Peruvian pink opal, Contra Luz, Mexican fire opal, or none of the above? And the answer is none of the above. Well, the question is, what is precious opal? It's opal with play of color, and someone's about to take these non-precious opals away. This is Australian potch. It has no play of color, so it's common opal, not precious. This is Andean blue opal, very pretty, no play of color though. so it's common opal. And this is Peruvian pink opal, also very nice, but no play of color. And the last one, Mexican common fire opal. No play of color, so it's common opal, but it is very pretty. Which statement is true about the two opals that you're about to see? Look pretty much the same from this way, and, well, this way too. They both are precious opal. We see the play of color. So the question is, which one's true? The brown one is actually dinosaur poop. B, the light one is not as dark as the brown one. C, they're the same type of opal. And D, they're almost the same type of opal. Well, the answer is they're almost the same type of opal. This is chocolate opal from the Shua province of Ethiopia. This was discovered in the 1990s. It didn't do too well in the jewelry trade because of its tendency to crack. And if you could get a stone out of it, it might later crack. So it really wasn't very good. Then in 2008, a great area was found in the Wollo province, which is northeast of the Shua province. And this is where the famous Wello opal comes from, which is probably the dominant opal in the jewelry market today. So we have a bonus question. What is your favorite color? Red, green, yellow, orange, or blue? And the answer is blue. I hope you got it right. If not, don't give yourself a point. I promise to display a new rock or mineral every video, and this one's. You saw it at the beginning. This is Bumblebee Jasper. It's not really jasper. It's mostly carbonates with some mixed in volcanic debris, but it is beautiful. I was at the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show last week, and I was talking to an Australian opal dealer when this guy comes by and he said, "Hey, wait a minute. You're the opal dude, the YouTube guy, right?" And I said, "Well, I guess so." He apparently recognized me by my voice. So I asked him, "Well, are you a subscriber?" And he said, "No, but I'll catch you next time, I promise." He's not going to smash the like button, and you know it. So do I.